Hi guys, welcome to Kitchen on Road, brought to you by Pili Pili Spices. I'm your host today, Chanté, and I will be taking you to Guyana, where I'll be making our traditional Afro-Guyanese dish called Metemgee, Metem for short. I started cooking when I was a little baby. I used to be cooking with me and my sister. We would stand on those little like cylinders, the gas cylinders, and we'll be making our breakfast. The breakfast includes a lot of fried things. So the first thing I learned how to do was like fry potato and sausage. You can find me at Licorice, L-I-C-K-E-R-I-S, 4 H's, on Instagram. So we're gonna start off by chopping all our vegetables and all of our spices. All right, so I've already cut my onions, I minced some garlic. I also cut up some green onions, and in this bowl I have carrots, sweet potatoes, and corn. They're all submerged in water just to keep them, just so they won't oxidize. I'm also going to be using some frozen yuca / cassava. Some people know it as yuca, some people know it as cassava. I have that ready to go. It's already cut. Do make sure that all of your vegetables are approximately cut the same size because you want them to cook all at once at the same time. Okay. So I'm also going to be sauteing all my veggies in some butter and oil. And we're also going to be using these babies today. These are called wiri peppers, you know, fresh from GT. These are super spicy, so eat with caution. I'm going to be putting these in whole. You could put like at least 3 or 4. It has a really nice fruity flavor and aroma. So it goes really well with anything in coconut milk or anything really. I'm just gonna add a teaspoon of oil to the pan, and I'm also gonna add a tablespoon of butter. So the oil is gonna stop the butter from burning. That's why we're adding it together, and it's mostly just for flavoring. So right now I'm gonna saute my onions and my garlic and a little bit of thyme. So maybe I'll be using some fresh thyme. You're gonna put it in whole. That's about 2 sprigs of thyme. So now I'm gonna add some sea salt from Pili Pili Spices. We're gonna, Alright, so I'm already sauteing my veggies, and I'm gonna start adding my root vegetables. I'm gonna add my corn, my carrots, my sweet potatoes, and my cassava. Finish off with my cassava. You can see this is a lot of vegetables. This is a great vegan dish. Even though I'm going to be making eggs to go along with it, it is perfect if you keep it vegan. So now I'm going to add my coconut milk. You can use canned coconut milk. Fresh coconut milk is obviously the best option. But right now we have about 2 cups of coconut milk. I have some ripe plantain here that I'm going to cut in 3s. I was gonna say quarter, but you can use churning plantain or completely yellow plantain. I rather it this way because if you use green plantain, it gets to get super hard because we are boiling everything. And this is gonna go on top of your soup last because it cooks the fastest, and we don't want it all mushy in our soup. So it's gonna be the last to go in and the first to come out. Now I'm gonna add in some green seasoning. This is like the foundation of most Caribbean cooking. It has green onions, parsley, onions, garlic, and I did add wiri pepper to it. So it's a nice little aromatic concoction that just elevates your food 10 times more. And I'm gonna add about a tablespoon. And it really intensifies that onion garlic flavor. Okay. Now for extra flavor, I'm going to add the Pili Pili all-purpose. This does not have salt, so you can go as liberal as you want, which I'm gonna do. Remember to taste and adjust your seasoning as you go along. This will reduce So probably wait more towards the end to see if you want any more sugar or any more salt. I will add a tablespoon of sugar to this just to intensify the sweetness of the coconut milk. So I'm just gonna add like a tablespoon of sugar. Brown sugar. This is Guyana gold sugar. I lied, Demerara gold. That's what it's called. Some Demerara gold sugar. I'm also gonna add some salt. Just a little. So I'm gonna give this a nice stir just to get everything incorporated. I am gonna now add my ripe plantain at the top and then cover it so it can start boiling. Please be mindful when you add your plantain. It's gonna be the first thing that you wanna fish out, so it's best if you keep it at the top and slightly submerged. All right, so now I have some coconut water. You can use regular water, but I wanted to use the coconut water so it can accentuate the coconut milk that I have here, just to give that little extra coconutty flavor. This does have pulp in it, so if you want, you can strain it out, or I'm just gonna go for it and just keep the pulp in there. So just enough to have everything covered. So I would say about like a quarter of a can of coconut milk, about a cup. Now I'm gonna cover this down and let it go for 10 to 15 minutes while I make my dumplings. Oh, and before I forget, I'm gonna add 2 wiri peppers to the pot. I'm gonna add them whole, and this will definitely add a little bit more flavor, and the aroma is gonna be through the roof. So now I'm gonna add some eggs to the pot. I'm gonna do hard-boiled eggs. Traditionally, Metem is eaten with either hard-boiled eggs, or you can use fried fish. If you have any fish laying around, you can just toss that in the pan. It goes perfectly with it. I do prefer eggs because it is an easier, quicker option. So we want these hard-boiled, so no runny egg, no runny yolk. I mean, if you want it that way, you can do it, but traditionally it's hard-boiled eggs. So I'm gonna add it to some boiling water. Careful with your fingers. The water is hot. So these are gonna go for at least 10 minutes if you want hard-boiled eggs. So now we're gonna get into my favorite part, which is like the most important part of Metem, I feel, which is making the duff. So duff is like a really fat, fluffy dumpling that's kind of sweet, which works so well with the Metem because it soaks up all the coconut milk. So when the pot has like about 5 minutes left, we're gonna put the dumplings at the top and let them steam. We're not gonna submerge them into the coconut milk because we don't want it to become soggy. So for the duff, we're gonna add 3 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour. And then to that, we're also gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is what's gonna be the rising agent in the duff. Makes it nice and fluffy. Then I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of Demerara sugar. I do like my duff sweet, so if you want it a little less sweet, you can add 1 tablespoon instead of 2, or 1.5, depending on your level of sweetness. And then I'm gonna go in with 1 heaping tablespoon of butter. So first I'm gonna start working the butter into the flour before I add the water. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some water little by little. You wanna form a nice soft dough. So you mix in, right now I'm pouring in 1/2 cup of water. You might need more, you might need less, definitely more. And we're looking for a nice soft dough. Grab everything from the sides. You want a nice clean bowl. Right, you don't want to overmix because it's gonna make it super stiff and hard. So this is perfect. We're gonna let this rest for 10 minutes so the gluten can relax a bit. So now I'm back to my pot. I'm just gonna check on it while my dumpling rests for a bit. Right now we can check the doneness of the ripe plantain. They seem kind of done. So I'm just gonna check that and then pull them out if they are finished. Because remember, they're the last to go in and the first to come out. Yeah, so these are looking pretty done. The bigger ones more than the smaller ones. So I'm gonna pull them out because I don't want them to get any more mush. So I'm just gonna pull the dumplings, the plantain out. At this point, you can also check the doneness of your other veggies, your sweet potatoes and your cassava. They're looking pretty good. It smells so good. So coconutty and rich. And you can also taste your broth to see if you need any more seasoning, any salt, any sugar, whatever to your liking. So I'm gonna blow it so I won't burn myself. Oh, that's good. No, that's actually good. Oh, that's so good. We're gonna add a little bit more pili spice, all purpose. You know what it is? All right, and I'm also gonna add a little bit of salt. Just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. That's awesome. Okay, so now I'm gonna cover this with a damp cloth just so it doesn't dry out while it rests for the 10 minutes. So if you do see that some of your root veggies are pretty cooked and you don't want them to get super mushy while the duff steams at the top, you can pull them out because you want them to keep their integrity. The corn can definitely stay in for longer because the more soaked in coconut milk it can be, the better. Okay, so now I'm gonna roll out the duff. So I'm gonna remove, take it out. We're gonna flour it just a little bit, not too much. All right, so you're gonna plop that out. Okay, so you're gonna roll it into a log. You can add flour to your surface just to make it a little bit easier. Then I'm going to just portion it out. After you portion it out, you're just gonna elongate them just a little bit, like this. So roll them between your fingers. Keep in mind that these will get super big. So you want to keep them all the same size so that they can cook at the same time. You already see that they're kind of already spreading on the table. So I'm just gonna take out a little bit more just so it doesn't get too mushy, and it also provides more space for us to have our dumplings rise in the pot. And you don't want to overcrowd it. Now I'm gonna transfer my duff to the pot. So be mindful to keep it to the top because you just want it to steam. So we're gonna put it here. And it's gonna soak up that coconut milk too. It's gonna be amazing. And now we're going to cover this and let it steam for 5 minutes. Do not peek in that 5 minutes because your dumplings are gonna become dense and they're also gonna like not puff up the way that you want them to. All right, so now it's been 7 minutes. I'm going to check on my dumplings to make sure that they're done. And when they're done, everything's done. Oh. Look how thick and fluffy they got. And we're just gonna finish it off with some green onions, aka scallions. We're just gonna let that steam for a little bit at the top, and it's also can be a really cute garnish. So you can pierce your dumplings just to see if they're cooked all the way through, and this one they all seem pretty cooked. And they're just gonna sit there soaking up all the coconut milk, all the coconutty goodness, and you are ready to go. All right guys, so I'm all done making Metemgee, and I just put it up here so that my friend Sammy can give me her opinion. Hey. Okay, so I have some cassava, corn, sweet potato, and the dumpling, duff, and some carrots, and you can go right in with the egg. Dunk it in some of the coconut milk and you're blessed.
Okay.
You're blessed.
I'm gonna try the dumpling first.
Okay. Go for the corn. You know? Trying to be cute.
What is it?
That's cassava.
Okay. I'm not a big cassava fan.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
But you know, that's not bad.
And that's sweet potato.
Okay, I'm a big sweet potato.
Yeah. No, sorry, that's plantain. It looks like plantain. Yep, that's
Yeah,
plantain. You like sweet plantain.
On a good day.
On a good day.
It's a very heavy meal.
Told you. Told you, it's very heavy. It could be eaten on its own. There's no need for rice. There's no need for noodles. This is perfect as it is. It will guarantee give you itis right after, like you're done. So plan your Sundays in this dish, you know, safely. All right, so rate me from 1 to 10. 0 to 10. What's
Okay.
my rating?
So because of the coconut milk,
Mm-hmm.
you got a very high rating.
Hey.
But because like I don't like boiled eggs,
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry.
I had to drop it in the coconut, you know?
I got
So
you.
it would have been like a 8, 9.
Okay.
It would have been a 9 for
would've been a
sure.
9.
It would have been a 9 for sure. But
Just
the
slide her
eggs-
off. Just slide her off.
Yeah, without the eggs, if you put the eggs like over here
Yeah.
and bring the meal like over here, then we're gonna give it a 9.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Do know that this can be 100% vegan without the eggs. So thank you guys so much for joining me on Kitchen on Road. I want to thank Pili Pili Spices for having me and the amazing director London. It was a grand time and I would love to be back. You can find me on Instagram on my food page at licorice, Lickeris, 4 H's. And you can also find Pili Pili Spices. Guys, go buy these amazing spices. They're so good, so clean. They really accentuate every dish that you add it to. So make sure you go and cop your spices. And I'll see you guys later.